starts now.
We are tracking the Arctic blast. Temperatures will plummet tonight. Today we saw icy conditions that have made travel downright dangerous as you watch the flashing lights there.
We have live team coverage with the very latest on the state power grid, as well as the conditions outside and the latest on school closures. There are many. Nearly all the schools in our area will be closed tomorrow. Here's the list right now. Cy-Fair, Fort Bend, Katy, Spring ISD all closed. And also about an hour ago, HISD announcing it will also be closed on Tuesday.
Well, let's not waste any more time. Get to the all-important overnight forecast with Chief Meteorologist David Paul and meteorologist Pat Kaplan. Dave?
Hi, Len. I'm Mia. The winter weather, the actual precipitation is really beginning to wind down now. It's ended for most inland areas. You still have a little strip where we have a light little frozen mix going on right along the coast, Galveston County, Galveston Island, down to Brazosport, but it's beginning to let up. Closer view, no reports of ice on the causeway, so Tiki Island to Galveston is good, but I would take things very slow on the roads out there this evening and through tomorrow. Any moisture could refreeze. And Pat Kaplan, temps are going to drop, but the precipitation is beginning to come to an end.
Yeah, so the model is actually picking up on that as well, Dave. I think this model has done very well with this so far. North and western areas, you're totally done. You've been done for a couple hours now, but still tracking some light freezing drizzle here through 8, 9, even 10 o'clock this evening. We could even see some redevelopment over the next few hours, but I think the trend will generally be towards a drier forecast. And by midnight, everyone's dry, and then the cold starts to filter in. So here's what you need to know as we go through the next 24 to 36 hours. Any wet spots that you see on the roadways or sidewalks, treat that as ice because temperatures are going to remain below freezing. Freezing precip, though, that wraps up by midnight, and then temperatures tonight drop to the teens and low 20s. That means a hard freeze is on the way for southeast Texas, even as far south as our coastal counties. And that will continue, not just for tonight, but as we get into tomorrow night as well. Lenny will tell you when we could see some relief in sight when we're back with the full forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Pat. We're also tracking power outages this evening. Right now, CenterPoint is reporting about 1,100 outages in the area. We have also seen a handful of outages reported by Entergy in the Woodlands and Conroe. Tomorrow morning, ERCOT wants you to help conserve power. Rekha Mudaraj details the request and how to cut back on power around your place. Rekha.
Well, Mia, ERCOT is predicting demand will go up tomorrow as it gets colder. So they're asking people to cut back on their power usage between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. Tuesday morning. It's the same concept we see during the summer months with extremely hot weather. Now, ERCOT is making this request to make sure everyone's lights and heat stay on. And we actually just heard from the CEO of ERCOT in the last 30 minutes. This is what he had to say about Houston.
In Houston, it's forecasted to be 10 degrees colder tomorrow morning than it was this morning. So we're going to see that deep freeze really take hold across most of the state tomorrow morning. So that's going to drive demand up quite a bit.
So Reliant Energy is actually sharing 3 ways you can conserve power. Here they are. Drop your thermostat down a degree or 2 tomorrow morning. If you have a cold draft coming in, throw a door or a window. Put a rolled up towel in the gap to help keep the inside of your home warm. Also, hold off on running major appliances. We're talking about your washer, dryer, even your dishwasher. Now, ERCOT wanted to be clear, saying any power outages happening now are a result of local electrical issues and not because of the power grid. Also, keep in mind there could be another request to conserve energy on Wednesday as well. Of course, we'll keep a close eye on conditions and keep you posted. Len?
We want to be safe than sorry. Thank you, Rekha. Again tomorrow, look at this long list of school districts in our area that will be closed tomorrow. We will have constant updates about this list online at khou.com. Also, Houston and Harris County both activating their offices of emergency management to respond to this hard freeze.
Their number one concern overnight and into the early morning are the roads. Adam Bennett is live along the 610 North Loop near Shepherd. Adam, how's it looking there?
Well, Mia, it has been off and on precipitation all afternoon long. And of course, it's still below freezing here. So that can make for some pretty slick and potentially dangerous conditions here. It's very easy to lose control on a road like that. So that's why we are keeping our distance about 100 feet back from the side of the road here behind this row of hedges just to be extra safe. Short time ago, earlier this afternoon, we made a trip just up the road on Shepherd to the city's Emergency Operations Center. That's where we saw officials from police, fire, public works, and the health department all there working they have been collaborating with TxDOT and the National Weather Service to figure out where the icy spots may be and try to get ahead of that by pre-treating the roads. We also hear that they're speaking with nonprofits to try to make sure that folks have a safe place to go warm up if that is not an option for them where they are. Houston's emergency management coordinator told me that those agencies have been working together to formulate a plan since last Friday, 3 days ago. Now they're looking ahead to a very cold night tonight and into tomorrow morning.
What we've been doing for the last couple of days is, one, sending the messaging out, us getting our plans together. We are going to be working through the night. The city employees, with OEM, Office of Emergency Management, along with the other departments, working through the night, monitoring the situation, but once again, passing out that message and making sure that people get that proper information to stay off the roads and to stay warm.
And Deputy Director Munoz also believes that the cold could have contributed to a big water main break near Hobby Airport overnight. Public Works crews spent hours today making those emergency repairs on that break on Santa Fe Drive. That's near Airport Boulevard. And some good news late this afternoon, a spokesperson told me that service has been restored for the roughly 80 homes that were impacted by that water main break. Meanwhile, you mentioned, Len, the county's emergency management center, emergency operations center has been activated. I just spoke with a member of Judge Lena Hidalgo's team. She told me they will be hard at work coordinating with the city, TxDOT, and other agencies throughout the night as this cold snap continues. Judge Hidalgo herself also tweeted earlier that if you have to be out there driving, be very, very careful. Do so very, very slowly because ice is virtually invisible on the roads, especially once the sun goes down. Len?
Very true, very true. Adam, thanks for the information. Icy roads causing accidents and delays on our roadways. Officials shutting down stretches of roads, including the Hardy. Ron Trevino talks with a driver who got stuck on the Hardy for hours. Ronnie?
Len, he was on the Hardy Toll Road trying to make his way home to Kingwood from his office in the Woodlands this morning. It's a 22-mile drive that normally takes 35 minutes, but today it took around 6 hours. Take a look at the video that he sent me when I talked to him by Zoom. As you can see, traffic was down to a crawl. He explains what happened when he first got onto the Hardy Toll Road.
When I entered Hardy Toll, the cars were all driving at really slow rate, like 10 miles an hour. I was even slower. So everyone's literally crawling. And then finally we all got to the major stop.
He left his office in the Woodlands around 10 o'clock this morning, didn't get home to Kingwood until around 4:30 this afternoon. Now is the time to make sure you're prepared if you ever end up in a situation like his. Len?
I'm glad he got home safely. Thank you, Ronnie. Now, if you absolutely must get on the roads, here's what you should take with you. Firestone Complete Auto Care suggests having a portable charger and battery for your phone, ice scraper, blankets, snacks and water, jumper cables, and a first aid kit. All day, our reporters, Troy Kless and Stephen Goen, have been on the roads.
And Stephen is along I-10 at Katy, where they've seen some major accidents and backups in that area. Stephen?
That's right, Mia. Along the Katy Freeway, where it's been a rough day for drivers because of the icy conditions. Quite a few accidents, including an 18-wheeler rollover crash that shut down traffic for hours. Take a look. This is video of that tractor trailer overturned in an overpass in Brookshire, west of Katy. You can see tow trucks trying to haul that thing away. It happened around 8:30 in the morning, closing down eastbound and westbound lanes for more than 3 hours. Then around 2 this afternoon, they were able to flip that thing over and haul it away. But as we said, that is not the only accident we have seen today. We've seen other 18-wheelers having crashes. We've seen passenger vehicles as well sliding off the road, having some fender benders as well. Back out here along the roadway, we're keeping an eye on conditions. It looks a lot different than it did this morning when there were snow flurries and some snow accumulated on the ground. Most of that has melted now, but that's really what added to the slick, icy conditions on the road here, of course making driving dangerous throughout the day. In Katy, Stephen Goen, KHOU 11 News.
Boy, it's been treacherous out there. Thank you, Stephen. Troy Kless picks up our team coverage now from Southwest Harris County. How are the roads in that part of town, Troy?
Well, Mia, around 5 o'clock when we were speaking to you, we were approaching some traffic on the North Beltway 8 approaching the Aldine Westfield Road exit. We haven't moved much since then. Now take a look ahead and you can see we are in standstill traffic because of an accident that was reported up ahead. And we've seen a lot of issues like this all across the Beltway and surrounding highways in the Northwest area. So if you take a look at some video that we shot earlier today, and you could see that an 18-wheeler got stuck on the ramp to Highway 290. That was in the Jersey Village area. Now we've also seen some traffic jams ourselves. Earlier today, we were stuck in traffic for an hour on Highway 249 near the Beltway after the Harris County Sheriff's Office reported an overturned 18-wheeler. And again, that caused backups for an hour. And I spoke with TxDOT this afternoon, and they told me they're discouraging people from being on the roadways. However, there are some resources where you can check the conditions if you have to get out there.
And also keeping up with HoustonTranStar.org, they're also providing that information of where we have ice locations. But if you do have to travel, please take your time, move slow, don't speed. If you're not feeling safe, pull over, pull off the road, and get to a safe location.
Fact, to a slow crawl here. Now we've actually seen people get off of the Beltway via the on-ramps, again going in the opposite direction to get onto the feeder road and avoid the traffic here. So again, if you do have to get on the road, you heard Len talk about it, have that emergency kit with you. Make sure to have some food, water, and blankets in there as well, because it may take some extra time for first responders to reach you. Reporting live tonight, Troy Kless, KHOU 11 News.
All the preparation we need for when it gets cold here. Thank you, Troy. We're also seeing icy roads across the state of Texas. See those gray symbols on your screen? All reports of ice on the roads. They extend as far south as the Corpus Christi area, all the way north to Dallas. Junior Caruso tracking where the latest accidents are popping up right now. Junior?
That's right. And the Katy Freeway has been a mess all afternoon. This is the westbound side just after Highway 6. There was a multi-vehicle accident and a hazmat spill that has shut these lanes down. Originally, it was 2 lanes, and the exit, it looks like they might have shut down another lane as well, as they are still trying to get this cleared. Traffic right now moving slow from Eldridge, about a 15-minute delay getting through here. Traffic is moving slow pretty much all over the North Freeway. You can see at the top left there at Spring-Stubner, 4-vehicle accident that scattered across the roadway. Center lane is the only thing open. Traffic is backed up pretty far. There's a 20-minute delay there. Seeing lots of accidents that normally would only take up 1 lane, scattering and closing down roadways. So be extra cautious wherever you're heading this afternoon.
All right. Thank you, Junior. Well, we see problems on the roads. You can only imagine there are problems in the airports, like Bush Airport.
A ground stop for United flights was just extended until 7 o'clock this evening. Matt Doherty joins us live at Bush with the latest. Matt.
Hi, Mia. Yeah, you can take a look down below. You can see all those travelers trying to get out of Houston tonight. We're here in Terminal C at Bush Intercontinental, the United Airlines terminal. That ground stop was supposed to be lifted at 6 o'clock. The FAA has now extended the ground stop to at least 7. According to the FAA, it's affecting flights coming to Houston. On Twitter, United Airlines is saying the ground stop is weather related. However, the other airlines here at Bush Intercontinental don't seem to be having a problem. They're able to fly in and fly out. I want you to take a look over out those windows over there, and you can see all those cars, and they are not moving. They've been like that for quite a while now, and periodically you're going to hear some of the drivers laying on their horns just out of frustration. Things are not moving as they should at Bush Intercontinental right now. Hopefully things will get better, but like I said, that ground stop has been extended until at least 7 o'clock tonight. Back to you.
Oh boy, pack the patience, as we like to say. Thank you, Matt. Tonight, the city of Houston has opened 7 more warming centers for anyone in need.
That is in addition to other warming centers like churches. The city decided to open its warming centers earlier than scheduled, all because of the extreme weather conditions. Jason Miles spoke with the mayor today. He's live on the east side with more for us. Jason?
Hey there, guys. Yeah, I'm at the Denver Harbor Multi-Service Center here on the east side. Mayor John Whitmire and others held a news conference before opening the doors at 3 o'clock. That's 5 hours earlier than the city had planned to open warming centers. Let's take you inside this facility, basically the gymnasium, doubling as a warming center over the next couple of days. This is not considered a shelter, though, since neither cots nor things like hot food are provided. It's considered a temporary place to stay warm and not a long-term solution, especially for those who may be experiencing homelessness.
people sometimes they say, well, I don't want to go there because it's not going to be safe. We will have our police officers at in each and every one of our warming centers, so that's a safe place to go.
A number of people already taking advantage of this warming center. We're not allowed inside, though, in order to protect their privacy. That's understood. Free rides are provided by calling 311 if you need help getting to one of these warming centers. And as you mentioned, in addition to the 7, the city is operating, the county operating some warming centers, number of churches opening their doors as well, and even some private businesses. You can see a full list of all of this. It's a lot for me to get to right now. Just go to khou.com. Reporting live from the east side, Jason Miles, KHOU 11 News.
While we wait out the cold, the Texans are waiting to find out who they will face in the next round of the playoffs. The team will either face Baltimore or Kansas City. This after the Texans with the big upset this weekend, dominating the Cleveland Browns and coming up with the W.
Emphasize dominate. Zach Tawatari hearing what head coach D'Amico Ryans is saying today.
Well, it's safe to say the Texans are coming off their biggest win of the season. I know what you're thinking, obviously, but it wasn't just that they won, it's how they did it. C.J. Stroud and the Texans offense erupted for 45 points, while the Texans D caused back-to-back pick sixes and held Cleveland to just 14 points. So who's next? Well, that's dependent on the outcome of the Steelers-Bills game. Either way, head coach D'Amico Ryans knows it's gonna be cold.
I'm not sure where we'll be playing, but we do know the elements. There will be cold weather. Gracious that we have cold weather here in Houston this week. It comes at the right time for us to be able to go out, practice outside in the cold weather. I don't think you get used to it. I always say, no matter what the conditions are for a game, you have 3.5 hours to suck it up, and whatever that weather is, you have to deal with it and be your best in that moment.
Now, here are the scenarios for their second round divisional game. Should Buffalo win, the Texans are headed to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. Should the Steelers win, they'll be playing the Chiefs in Kansas City at Arrowhead Stadium. Either way, the league has announced that they'll be playing in that 3:30 Saturday time slot as they continue to prepare this week for their opponent and those elements. At NRG Stadium, Zach Tawatari, KHOU 11 Sports.
Off everywhere. Thank you, Zach. Tomorrow, more people, because the holiday is ending, may be out on the roads.
And if you have to get out on the road, there's 3 things you can do to make your journey a little safer. First, make sure your vehicle is fit to get on the road. That means checking your battery and tires. As we've seen, some elevated bridges and flyovers have ice, so plan your route around them. Also, while you are driving, keep some distance between you and other vehicles. This will give you some space in the event your car skids on ice. Our traffic expert, Jennifer Reyna, has more on the do's and don'ts for handling your vehicle in the cold weather.
Those temperatures surely dipped as low as we thought they would. So did you already prep your car? Well, if you did not, we're here at Sal's Auto Repair Shop trying to get advice on what you can do tonight into tomorrow morning. Let's go. So today the temperatures have really dipped low. So we're talking to the folks that will be prepping their vehicle overnight and into tomorrow morning. If they do wake up with ice tomorrow, what are the steps that they should take?
Well, first of all, you need to start your car. If you live in an apartment complex, stuff like that, and your car is not covered, start your car, turn it on the defrost, and you have to wait till the ice melted down.
Okay, we're talking less than 20 degrees outside of a garage. How many minutes would you give?
I'd say 5-10 minutes, you're going to be okay to drive.
So some people want to just take off and go, and they have the windshield wipers, and they think that's going to like wipe off the ice. That's not going to help, right?
It's not going to help. And make sure you don't put some water on the windshield because you can crack your windshield. So especially hot water. Another thing is you want to make sure your tires are on the right pressure, because in the cold weather, always you lose pressure.
So tire pressures do vary, but you can find the official readings right here inside of the door panel. Is that right?
That's right. This is your tire information. You got your tire size and your tire pressure. Because the cold weather, you want to go at least a couple of pounds lower because you want to have a really good traction on the road.
All right, thank you, Jennifer. Jennifer will have the very latest updates on your morning road conditions first thing in the morning at 4:30. Along with the morning team, Stephanie Simmons and Kimberly Davis providing updates on closures. Cheetah Craft and Kim Castro will be tracking the forecast in the morning.
As it gets dark out, you'll want to stay off the roads, or if you must be out there, do take it really slow.
We keep saying that, slow down. David and Pat, what will the temperatures look like overnight?
Yeah, there's still some slick spots out there. We're monitoring that. The winter weather advisory has been allowed to expire. What's falling from the sky is letting up, and it looks like we're done for the most part with the winter precip, but wind chills are going to plunge tonight. That's because the winds are going to gust 20 to 30, and then a hard freeze warning tomorrow morning, the first of 2 in a row. Those winds, take a look at the wind gust forecast. Right now we're getting gusts anywhere from 19 to 20 miles an hour. As we head toward the overnight into 5:30 in the morning. Are you going to be up early tomorrow? My goodness. Not only are we below freezing, 20s and teens, but wind north gusting at 27 in Tomball, gusting out of the north to 36 in Galveston tomorrow morning. The winds do back off as we head into the afternoon tomorrow, but it is going to be a cold and windy day with temps below freezing for most of the day. These are current temperatures. It's 23 at Conroe. Sugar Land, you're 26 right now. Hobby's 28, Pearland 29, Galveston 1 above freezing at 33, but that won't last much longer. You're going to dip below freezing here pretty quickly. In and around Harris County, temperatures in the 20s for the most part. Bush 26, Houston 27, Bel Air, you're at 26, Mission Bend's at 25, Katy 24, Pasadena 28, LaPorte 29, Baytown is at 28. In fact, yeah, everybody's in the 20s now, even Seabrook next to Galveston Bay. And you can see why the winter weather advisory has been allowed to expire. What's falling from the sky is now pushing out into the Gulf and over into Louisiana. Lake Charles to Lafayette now getting the light frozen mix, and they're having trouble with their roads this evening because of that. You see the showers finally exiting Galveston. It's coming to an end. There's a little mist down there, but that's about the end of it. And the good news is the causeway over to Galveston never did report any ice. Good. Okay, Pat Cavlin getting cold tonight, but traffic out there, even though the precip has ended, is still a bit of a mess, to say the least.
Dave, the damage is done. According to TransStar, 53 road closures and over 20 accidents. This is what our traffic map looks like. I just want to show you some of the big closures that we're keeping an eye on up here on the North Beltway in between 45 and the Tomball Parkway in both directions here, and then also southbound Tomball Parkway coming out of Coralville, also down towards the Southwest Freeway going southbound. This is a huge closure from the Beltway going all the way down towards Greatwood. So just a mess out there, and icy conditions, Dave, as you were just showing, temperatures in the 20s. So please just don't go out on the roads if you don't have to. As Dave was showing, the winds are going to be whipping tomorrow morning. When you couple that with air temperatures in the teens and 20s, makes for some dangerous feels-like temperatures. The darker shaded counties up here, that's where you're going to find a wind chill warning and feels-like numbers dipping below 0. Where you see everywhere else, that's where feels like temperatures are in the single digits. There's a snapshot of what the numbers could look like tomorrow morning. And if you see wind gusts upwards of 20, 25, and 30 miles per hour, I believe these numbers. 4, the feels like temperature tomorrow morning in Houston, 0 in Katy, 0 in Conroe, 2 below for Huntsville, feels like 7 in Galveston and Brazosport, 3 degrees, the feels like temperature in Bay City and Liberty, and 1 in Cleveland. These will be the actual air temperatures on the thermometer. Teens widespread from northern Harris County going north and west, low to mid 20s farther south. We're below freezing on the thermometer even in Galveston. By the afternoon, a lot of us actually stay below freezing once you get north of the city. I think from the city and points south, we either flirt with the freezing mark or we make it just above for a couple of hours. Nothing to write home about though, and with the wind it still feels like the 20s for a good part of the day. And then tomorrow night back to another hard freeze. 19 for Spring, same Conroe, Waller, 20 in Katy, 21 for Rosenberg, Sugar Land, 32 in Galveston, 20 for Liberty, and then a big recovery as we get you into Wednesday afternoon, mid to upper 40s for a lot of spots. We could make a run at 50 degrees in the city of Houston and 51 for Galveston. So here's what you need to know for the overnight. Pets, plants, anything that's sensitive indoors, make sure those pipes are wrapped before you go to bed tonight, because it's only going to get colder over the next few hours. And do not drive. I just don't know what other ways that we could say that, Dave. The roads are so dangerous tonight. Any wet spots that you might see, whether on a sidewalk or a roadway, treat that as ice as temperatures stay below freezing.
That's good advice, Pat Kaplan. Absolutely. Stay home and stay safe. This evening, hour by hour, 27, 26, 25, the air temperature as we walk through 7, 9, and 11 o'clock. Breezy and cold. I'll show you how the wind is going to gust up tonight to 20 and 30 miles an hour near the coast. Cold, cold, cold on Tuesday. We struggle to get to freezing. We may or may not get there. If we don't get above freezing, we plunge back down into the teens on Wednesday morning. By that time, it may be that we get to 60 hours in a row without getting above freezing at Bush or Continental. We'll watch and see if that actually plays out. 49 Wednesday afternoon, then 68 on Thursday. That can't come fast enough. It's going to be a chilly weekend with light freezes on Saturday morning, guys. So a lot going on, but the weather settling down. Now the cold coming in. Take care of each other tonight, guys. Back to you.
We'll do so much to keep up with. You can follow the Arctic blast and the changing weather conditions, that is, simply by texting the word freeze to 713-526-1111. We'll be sure to send you the links to all the information you need to know.
We've been sharing tips on air and online on how to prepare your home for these frigid temperatures.
If you are a renter, legal experts want you to make sure you know your rights if your residence is impacted by extreme weather. Jalissa Garza here now with more on your renter's rights.
For the past several days, Houstonians have been preparing for the cold, taking care of plants and pipes. And if you're renting a house, legal experts say it's time to make a checklist. First thing on the list, make contact with your landlord.
If they have not heard from their landlord, to send them an email or some communication asking if anything needs to be done to prepare the house for inclement weather, especially cold weather.
Attorney Randy Sorrell says you should also take a look at your rental agreement.
You should know at least what your rights are under the lease, and more importantly, what your responsibilities are to the landlord, because typically they have more rights than the tenants do.
Sorrell says after you've prepped your home, go ahead and take pictures of what you've done and keep them.
As opposed to allowing a landlord to accuse you of not doing what's required under the lease agreement, you have proof that you did what's necessary.
He says knowing what you're responsible for is vital, especially in the event that some type of damage happens.
Read up on those rights before the emergency hits to decide what they should do next. Can they call a plumbing company out? Can they bring in a remediation company on their own? Or do they have to go through their landlord?
If anything in the home is impacted by the weather and needs immediate fixing, Sorrell says keep documentation of that too. And don't forget about your renter's insurance.
Keep track of as much documentation as you can for the inconveniences caused to you that may be covered under an insurance policy that will benefit you in the long run.
Sorrell says the same goes for those renting an apartment. Read your documents to know your rights.
And determine who has the rights and the responsibility to address emergency situations.
Reporting in Houston, Jalissa Garza, KHOU 11 News.
Once again, want to take a look at the school districts closed for tomorrow because of the weather. It's a long list. We'll be sure to continue to update the list that now also includes Houston ISD closed for tomorrow. And just taking one final look there at your weather, Dave says things are kind of tapering off as far as that cold wintry mix is concerned. Now we're just dealing with a plummeting temperatures. Hang in there though.
Did he say 60 hours or below freezing?
Yes. By midweek, it's going to start
goodness.
looking a whole lot better. Hey, stay warm, stay safe. We're here to help you do both. More Arctic blast coverage coming up tonight at 10 o'clock. We'll see you then.
We'll see you then.